All right, I guess I am live now, and I doubt anybody besides Aaron is up today. Was kind of bored, so I wanted to just come on here and try a few things out. As you can see behind me, the effects aren't that great yet. Still working this stuff out, but figured why not? It's kind of fun. So if you hop on, the chat is open. This is pretty much anything goes here today. So say hello. Let me know what's going on. I'll let you know what's going on my side of the world, and we'll just hang out. My kids are in the house. I'm out in my studio. The kids are in the house, starting their first official day of virtual learning. We'll see how that goes. It's 8:30 to 2:30 today. It's 8:34 actually, a.m. Eastern time. But yeah, I'll just hang out here until people show up. If they don't show up, maybe I'll try it again another day. I'll delete this or whatever. So no worries. I hope some of you Helix guys can hop on. If you see me doing stuff, I'm just checking emails and responding to messages here, so I'm not ignoring you. I don't have any guitars hooked up today. I unplugged some stuff last night, so I probably won't be playing. I kind of want to wait until I have everything here that I'm waiting on. I just sold. Now you can't see behind me anymore because I got the green screen up, but I just sold both of the guitars. If you watched the last video, the last live stream, the Purple Epiphone and the Edwards ESP Strat are both on their way to their new owners. And I also sold the HX Stomp that's on its way, and a few other things that I mailed out. And I ended up buying a couple of things that I'm now just like waiting on. Hopefully one of them will be here on Friday and the other will be here on Monday, unless things slow down with the delivery services that they come with. I think they both come through UPS. So if you do end up on here, like I said, just say hello in the chat so I know you're here, and let's try to have some fun with this thing. We're all kind of in the same boat here. If you notice, I titled this hashtag Stay Home because you really do need to stay home unless you're essential. I do landscaping, and as of now, well, Rhode Island, we're not locked down yet, but I've kind of locked myself down. I'm like, you know what? Every person that does that, takes that approach, we're going to get out of this a lot faster. So even if you're not in a mandatory lockdown, just do it if you can. I do landscaping, and I know Massachusetts locked down, and from what I can understand, landscapers are not essential right now. So just stay home, please. Let's get through this a lot quicker than we might have to. I saw a funny thing yesterday or this morning on Facebook. Was the teacher from the Breakfast Club, when he's talking to Bender, saying he's saying basically, when Bender starts mouthing off to him and he goes, "You want detention for another week?" "Yeah, I do." "All right, make it 2 weeks." And he just keeps adding up. If we don't go into quarantine mode, then this lockdown is going to come, and it's going to be a lot longer. Aaron, yeah, green screen. This behind me, I don't know if you can tell. If I go like this, kind of see that green outline on me. This is a green screen behind me. You can kind of see it in my hair too. I didn't spend much time on that this morning, but I wanted to try it out. And actually over here, you can see a little of the green. It's all a matter of getting the lighting correct, and like I have some lights like right on me, like right here. You can see it going up and down. And I got one on this side. One of these. Got these off. I think you got these off. These are on Amazon. Little cool little LED lights mainly for photography and video, and they run on rechargeable batteries. So I use these in a lot of my videos. And then I have two more lights, one here and one here, on umbrella lights, to light up the green screen. So you're gonna kind of have, if you've never seen it done before, you kind of have to have lights lighting up the green screen, which is just a big green. Another thing I got off Amazon, big green, like it's almost like a bed sheet. I got that hanging behind me, and then you got another 3 feet in front of that. You need these other two lights to light the subject, which unfortunately is me. So I'm just trying this stuff out today. I guess it looks, I'm looking at it on YouTube, and it doesn't look too bad for first time doing a green screen. So I just want to, and that's my band. There's Ozzy. Let's see. I'm not a weatherman, so there's Ozzy, our rhythm guitar player. Chris, our bass player. Right back here is Joe, our singer. This guy over here, oh, I'm on the wrong side. This is John, our keyboard player. And then where am I? I am, there's me, kind of blurry in the background. That's the last official show that we played at the Hanover Theater in Worcester, Massachusetts. And it was a hell of a show. And we're all dying to get back out there. But again, if you don't try to stay home, it's going to be a lot longer before we can do all this kind of stuff again. So please, 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 please stay home. I know it sucks, but everything sucks right now, so we got to do it. Don't mind me. I'm checking Facebook. I posted this, the link on the Line 6 Helix group on Facebook. I'm hoping some of those guys will hop on in. Glad Aaron's here. I'm going to try to get to your 4 o'clock stream today, Aaron. Can't promise because I have I think I have some kind of a call at 4 o'clock, but I'm going to try. Maybe I can have it on in the background. But if you want, post a link in the chat. Maybe someone will see it. Every little bit helps. I just got an email that I am now live on YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. I got it approximately 7 minutes after I actually went live, so 7.5 minutes. So what do you got? Whoever's here, it says we have a few viewers on right now, and as usual, nobody other than the 1 or 2 people like Aaron. Sometimes Chad will show up and he'll say something, but nobody ever uses the chat. The chat is there. I'm not sure what side it's on. Use it. Seems like I have a pretty good stream going here. The stream health is excellent. No drop frames at this point. The vocal I'm using, in case anyone's wondering, I'm using the Blue Yeti USB mic. I do want to upgrade this at some point to one of the Shure, what is it, the SM7B or B7, one of those vocal mics. But right now that's not really that important unless I score a crazy deal. Speaking of deals, I just scored well, let's go through what I mentioned that I sold those 2 guitars that were usually hanging behind me, but I also let me check something. Hold on 1 second. I just want to make sure I got the right stuff here that I can pull up. All right. Let me see what Aaron's saying. Finally got a bunch of questions in the stream yesterday and spoke for like an hour. Oh, that's cool. I think I'm doing these things at the wrong time. It seems like the best time for me is usually early morning like this, and nobody's ever on, or everybody's still half asleep and doesn't feel like chatting or talking. So maybe I got to try one of these maybe at night or later in the day, because I think I did a couple like a year ago, and I had a pretty healthy stream of people in the chat. But I'm hoping people will hop on. All right, so like I said, I sold those 2 guitars, and the reason for selling the purple Epiphone, while I love it, I wasn't going to be using it much with my band in live because I have the tones that were in that Epiphone I have covered with my Strats, especially my main guitar, because it's got dual humbuckers in it, and that Epiphone is something that you can get pretty much any time for like $400, so I wasn't concerned about that. Eddie Thompson from South Carolina, what's up, Eddie? Thanks for coming in. Hopefully you can hang out for as long as you can. Just talking about the two guitars I sold, the purple Epiphone and the other. Now the Edward Strat I sold, the reason I sold that, and I think I went over this on the last chat, was that it's basically a one-trick pony. While it sounded great, for single coils, I don't use single coils that much. Definitely not live. I really wasn't going to use that guitar live. And here in the studio, I have a couple other guitars. If I need the single coil sound, I have it. So I wasn't going to use it. It was a beautiful guitar. It really played well. Solid guitar, but I sold it. So I ended up buying, and some of you who are friends with me on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever, I ended up buying. Let me see if this works. Let me move this way. I ended up buying this PV Wolfgang Special. Now it is Korean made, and I was aware of that. I didn't care. I'm not the type of guy. I don't like buying $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 guitars. I just never have. I have one, which was my first real guitar, which is my 91 EVH Music Man Ernie Ball, that I still have, as you've seen hanging on the walls. I just don't, and I'll probably never take that out again because it just beat to hell. But I came across this guitar on Reverb, and I watched it for a couple of weeks, hoping that I'd be able to sell what I needed to sell in order to buy it. And from selling the other two guitars and then buying this, I still came out on top pretty well. This was up there for $750 originally with a case, with the hard case, and they had it on sale for $639, I believe, like 15% off. So once I was able to get the funds from selling the other two guitars, I offered a $590 shipped, and they took it. So it looks like it's in decent shape. I want to say it's from 2002. The serial number on the back, the Korean models, I don't think they kept track of the serial numbers. I guess I could contact PV, but from all the digging that I did online, from different websites and forums and PV sites and all that, it looks to be a 2002, but I'm not positive. And to be honest with you, I kind of don't care. As long as the guitar will stay in tune and sounds decent, I'll be happy. That's all. I just love the feel. I've owned a couple of Wolfgangs in the past. I've owned a Special, and always loved the way they played. I think I had a Korean model too that was fine. I think I had a gold, the full gold without the binding on it, and it was a nice playing guitar. One of the many guitars I've sold over the years. But that is supposed to come Friday via UPS, so I'm looking forward to that. Anything I can get my hands on now at this point, while staying home, is a plus. So let me get rid of that and get back in and say hi to me over there, right there. I got to get used to this weatherman stuff right there. Yeah, so looking forward to that guitar. If it plays well and sounds good, it's probably going to be a guitar that I use live. That's my main thing right now, because I do want to get back out there, and I know all you guys do too, and just stop playing shows. I mean, I have a feeling, and my bandmates feel this way too, that once we get this under control, and we will, got to stay positive. Once we get this under control and then things slowly start getting back to whatever normal is, that at least my band, we're going to get really busy because people are going to want to get out, and people are going to want to go see live music and to live events. You know, obviously, this has got to happen once they figure everything out and make sure everything is safe. But if you want to believe the reports that are coming out now that China, you know, their totals have been going down steadily every day. I just read another report that they're starting to open some of their movie theaters back up. Whether or not you believe them after what they supposedly they hid this thing, but I'm trying to stay on the positive side of things, and I'm looking at it from that way that once we are able to get back out again, everything's going to be a lot better. I hope. So in the meantime, like I said, stay home. Stay home. Anybody? Who else is on here? We got a few more people hopping on. Yeah, Aaron. We're all bored, but if we don't do this now, we're gonna be getting bored for a long time. I'd rather be locked down for a month, if it had to come to that, than locked down for 3 or 4 months. So please, like I said when I started this today, if you can stay home, just stay home. I mean, it's not a lot to ask. No one's taking your food away. No one's taking, whatever. Just stay home. And there's no food supply shortage. There's no shortage of anything except for, the masks for the hospitals and the gloves. I was in my workshop. I could have sworn I had a few masks left over that I was going to donate, but I cannot find the damn things. So my daughter has her infusion this Friday at the hospital, and I was gonna, whatever I could find, I was gonna bring to donate, but I couldn't find anything. So yeah, Aaron, you bored, so we'll want to go to shows again. Definitely, everybody's cooped up. Well, Aaron, you're in New York, right? If I'm correct, you're in New York, and it's pretty bad in New York. I think they said more than half of the cases are in New York, which makes sense because it's pretty much the most populated area. So, yeah. And I saw a thing today that the governor of Florida wants anybody flying in from New York to be quarantined for 14. Why are people flying? That's what I don't understand that. Why are people still flying? People stupid? I understand if you're coming from another country, you have to get home. That's fine, but stay off buses, trains, aircraft, everything. Stay off everything for now. Just do it for a while, and we'll be fine. I swear to God, this whole thing is like weeding out people with common sense and people that don't have any common sense. You can see it. So, all right. So we went through the guitars. Yep. So we went through the guitars, and now after selling a bunch of pedals and the HX Stomp, I'm still trying to sell the Easy. I'm tired. The Boss ES8. I still have that on Reverb. There's a few more pedals still up for sale on Reverb, and like I said in the last stream, I really want these to sell ASAP so I can get them shipped to whoever buys them before we all do get locked down. But so I ended up buying. Let's see if this comes. This might take up the whole screen. Here we go. I scored this on Reverb for a pretty good price. I didn't realize that the Helix went up in price. Especially the new ones went to $6. The last time I bought a Helix, the new ones were like $14.99. Now they're $16.99. And I scored this one, which was the Space Gray edition, which is kind of a new one. This guy said it never left his house. Not a scratch on it. Yep, Aaron, as you can see on the screen, I got a Helix. I don't have it yet, but I scored this one. I think it was like $1,300 shipped. Which I thought was a good deal. I remember buying my two previous Helixes used for like $1,000 and $1,100, so I guess the prices did go up. But yeah, this should be here Monday as long as there's no delays. And I did order I did order Chad Boston's screen guards, which I've had on every Helix that the other two, I think I have two other Helixes that I used to have. I had those on there just to help Chad out, and also they work well, and you don't have to worry about anything breaking the screens with those things on. I was thinking of getting one of the skins for it, but I kind of actually like the space gray. I was looking at there was a silver one on Reverb too, but they wanted a little too much money for it. Oh yeah, Aaron. Yeah, definitely. Good point. Wiping down packages when you ship and when you get shipments in. I went to the market yesterday, not to hoard anything. We just needed a few things, and I've been wearing gloves into the stores. Got back home, brought everything inside. Every piece of food, other than the produce, which we wash anyway. Every piece of food I've been wiping down with wipes, and went back out to my truck, wiped down the truck, the steering wheel, everything. Wiped down the doors, when I'm coming into the house and into the studio. I've been wiping down everything. My hands are getting really dry from washing them so much, but can't say I'm not clean. Yeah, I've been wiping down everything, and everybody else should be doing that too. Especially if you are still going out, please wipe down, wash, and don't touch your face. I'm constantly going like this. I can do this now because I haven't gone anywhere since yesterday morning, and I've washed my hands 9,000 times, and hand sanitizer, and I took a shower this morning, so I'm good. Been wiping down stuff in the house, everything I can think of. And I was actually doing yard work yesterday, which was kind of fun to do. Just keep picking up some extra leaves that came down. But yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm waiting to get these things in that I bought. Yeah, I feel, yeah, me too, Aaron, for the delivery people. But they're essential. You got to keep everything moving that way. I'm sure they're taking precautions. Now I know that here in Rhode Island is a company called Honeywell that's looking to hire. I want to say that they're looking to hire about 500 people because they do make the masks. So they're trying to hire a lot more people. I mean the wages, it's like $15 an hour. So if anybody from Rhode Island is watching this or ends up watching this, is looking for a job because you got laid off or whatever, Honeywell in Smithfield, which is not too far from me here, they are hiring. And I just heard that CVS is going to be hiring thousands more people. I don't know if it's nationwide or locally, but they're going to be hiring too because they're going to the demand is there. So if you're looking for a job, the jobs are out there if you want to stay busy, and these are essential jobs. So Aaron, you had asked, or you had said you want to see how I set it up. I'm going to set it up 4-cable method, and it's really going to be used for effects only when I play my shows. That's it. As I've said before, I'm just a tube guy at heart, and one of the reasons why I love the Synergy stuff is that while it is all tube, it's not cumbersome tubes, if that makes sense. It's not like I don't have to haul around a 40-pound head in a 412 to shows, especially since we use in-ears. I can just bring this one space rack unit with tubes in it and get the tone that I love going into my in-ears. Aaron, other pedals too. No, I most likely will not be using other pedals. I think, to me, that's counterproductive for the Helix. I try to keep things as simple as possible, and the only external pedal as of right now that I plan on using, and I have to use it, is the Rocktron Banshee talk box, which is not really a pedal. Um, it's actually an amp. So I may run that, and I did this before when I had the HX effects. I may run that into one of the effects loops on the Helix. So this way, instead of having to move over with my foot and turn that on and bypass everything else, I may just run it in a loop and just have the Helix control that. Let's see. Eddie is asking, if I was going to use tube amp and pedals only other than the Rocktron Talkbox, what amp, watt, and pedals would you choose? I've always been partial to the DSL 100, which I still have. It's every show I've played that we've had to use a backline amp. That's always been a staple. And it's a workhorse. Never had issues with it. You can get a great rock sound out of it. You can get really heavy with it. You can get clean with it. You can get bluesy with it. And the synergy stuff too. It's just, to me, I love the Friedman, the BE100, after having owned one, but it was just, to me, to have an amp that cost that much, just didn't really make sense to me. So having that tone with the synergy, knowing that Dave Friedman pitched in with that, and after playing it, it sounds pretty damn close to from what I remember with the actual head. And you're also asking so that would be the 2 amps. The wah, I've always liked the Crybaby, the simple Crybaby wah. The what is it? Not the Q. Is it 935? I haven't used a wah in so long. I just don't use them. But what's cool with the Helix is if I want to use a wah now, I'll just use the one in the Helix. And pedals. These are my essential pedals for me to do a gig. I've got to have a noise gate, usually the NS2, because you can run that before the loop and after the loop using the one pedal, and it also can power another Boss pedal or two. Probably the Boss SD1 for overdrive. The TC Electronic Hall of Fame Mini, because I don't use a ton of reverb, and you can download any reverb you want into that thing with their Tone Print app. I would just use a nice, and I was going to before I sold all the stuff, a plate reverb. And also the TC Electronic, the mini flashback delay. And if you needed more than one delay, then I had the DD500, which sounded great. To me, it was right on par with the Strymon stuff, but $100, $150 cheaper. So I think just those pedals right there, a noise gate, an overdrive, a reverb, and a delay would be the ones. And then the Crybaby wah would be what I would use with an actual amp. Let's see. Aaron, yeah, I know you got the Synergy combo. Amp in the room is great. Yeah, the direct, that's what I wanted to get to also with the direct stuff. So the other thing with the Helix is it's going to be my backup amp, meaning if something goes wrong with the Synergy, if I lose sound or something, or like I'm backlined an amp and it blows a tube or something, I'm going to have presets or patches set up on the Helix, probably like a few banks over from the effects stuff, where I'll keep an XLR cable right on my near my mic stand, where I can just plug the XLR out of the Helix and then run it right back to our in-ear system, because everything on stage that we use goes through our system and then it goes out to front of house. So I'll run that right into, and I'll probably be down for a minute, maybe 2 minutes. So I'll be back up and running without having to try to diagnose what's wrong with the amp or why do I have no sound. I'll just take that cable, and I might just keep one end already in the Helix and have it kind of rolled up on the ground on the stage, and then I can just run it back, or I'll just have a roadie or a sound tech come and grab it and show them before the show. Something happens, pull this out of this rack unit that we have here and plug this in. And front of house will have my sound, and the rest of the band will have it in the in-ears too. Let's see. Eddie, what would be my DS1 settings? Are you meaning the DSL or the distortion, the pedal, the Boss? If you mean the DSL, I always stayed on the green channel, the crunch channel with the crunch pushed in, and I would run the gain. I would run the gain probably to around 7, because from there I was always able to, if I needed a clean sound, I was always able to use my guitar's volume and turn it down to clean that up. It always worked well. All right, so Eddie, I know we're on a delay here, so I'll continue with that in case anybody else was wondering about that. And from my leads, I would just kick on the SD1 pedal. Now the DS1, Eddie's asking about the pedal. The Boss DS1. All right, take care, Aaron. I'll try to make it there later today, but good luck. The Boss DS1. You're talking about Eddie. You're talking about is it the orange distortion pedal? I think I've owned that once in my life, way back when I first started playing. Or are you talking about the SD1? The SD1. If I was using it with the DSL. Yeah, Aaron. Oh yeah, Bon Jovi's writing a song about this coronavirus. I haven't checked it out yet, but I plan on checking it out. But yeah, so the SD1, Eddie, if that's what you're talking about, the yellow pedal, I would normally, okay, SD1. All right. So I normally with the DSL, with the crunch engaged, gain around 7. That gives you a pretty nice AC/DC type tone. The DS1, I would normally set the level all the way up, the tone in the middle. You can go right or left on that a little bit depending on what you like. And then the drive, it just depends on what I was playing. If I didn't need a lot of push, I would have the drive all the way down with the level all the way up, just to punch that crunch channel a little bit, just to give it a little bit more bite to it. But if I needed more, I usually wouldn't go past like noon on that dial, because then it starts fuzzing out, and I don't like the way that sounds. So I would keep it. Generally I'm between all the way off and like 9 o'clock. On if you're looking, thinking of it in terms of a clock dial, all the way off in 9 o'clock is what I would do, and I would kick that on for the heavy stuff and for solos, and I would kick on the delay pedal for solos too. But I'm having fun here, actually. I don't know if I want to keep doing this green screen in the back. Maybe I'll throw some goofy things up on the next one, some funny stuff. But or I should just have a big thing that says #StayHome behind me. Let me see if I can do something here. I'm curious to see what this might look like. Hold on a second. Give me a second here. Let's see if I can change this green screen during the stream here. Let's see. I need something high resolution. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, that's too small. Actually, that might work. Hold on. Save. Okay. You're welcome, Eddie. I want to see how stupid this ends up looking. It's not going to be anything crazy. It's just let me see how this works. If I can find it. Let's try this. Yeah, you can see that white thing on there. No, you don't. let's see what this looks like. Yeah, see, I don't have the green screen set up right, so these lights back here have to be aimed down a little bit more. But it's kind of fun to test this stuff out, just having... What if I turn... Yeah, see, there's that light. If I turn this all the way up and then aim it down, you see what happens? It looks better. But you don't want to see the light in there. Hey, we're getting a lesson on how to use the green screen. So if I take this other one... See, now if I take them off me, you don't see me as well. But I have extra lights that I can use, and I'm not going to do it now. This side is not looking as good as the other side, but one of the reasons is that I have a filter on here. So if I take the filter off, bring this down, and then put this like that, you can kind of see it. Looks a little bit better, but now you can't see me. So if I go like this, I got my phone. Oh, that's Sebastian Maniscalco. Check him out. Check him out, his comedy, if you haven't. Funniest guy going today. So let me see if I have my other light. Let's see. I'm just having fun now. If you stick around, great. If you don't, no worries. Let me check something here. I don't know where my other lights are. There's one over there. One over here. All right, let me try this. I'll be right back. There's one there. You can probably still hear me. There is a light here. Where the heck is the other light? I don't know where the other light is. Now I'm breaking stuff. I don't know if anybody's still left on here. Oh, this is this one. And I gotta charge the battery on that. So I'm gonna get this for next time. I'm gonna get this set up for next time. Let me shut this off because the battery's gonna need to be charged, and I'll get this back to this. Yeah, so next time I will try this again with better lights. Breaking news, and I already heard this yesterday, but the Olympics have been postponed. So again, stay home. So let's go back to, there's my new guitar coming Friday. Korean made, yes, cheap version of the PV Wolfgang Special. And I have this coming Monday, the Space Gray Helix, which will be used in 4-cable method with my Synergy stuff. And let me try to put this light back on just for a little bit here. See if it even, ooh, that's a little strong. That's too much, too much, too much. That's better. So, and now you can see what the use of light does. But who else is still on here? I'm not sure if Eddie's still here. I know Aaron had to take off. I do appreciate you guys coming on early in the morning. Still available on my Reverb page. The Micropog and Microflanger, which has somebody's initials on it for some reason. But it still works. Eddie, good question. Switching over to sports here. Any thoughts on Brady to Tampa Bay and who the Patriots' new quarterback will be? it sucks that he left. Really does suck, but um, he's earned the right to do what he wants. I have no, I'm not mad that he chose to go somewhere else. He was with us for 20 years and six Super Bowls and just countless great memories. And I'm not going to put him down for wanting to try something else. And or if he feels like he wasn't treated well enough. I mean, he did everything he needed to do here. He took New England from a laughing stock all the way to one of the top franchises in sports. So I wish him well. Now the silver lining on all this is that I have a really good friend who works for Tampa Bay, and I've gone down there a few times to games, and I actually went the last, was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the Patriots played down there. I went to that game. I believe it was a Thursday night game, and it's always a great time. So I will be getting my Brady, whether it's a T-shirt or a jersey, Tampa. And who do I think the new quarterback will be? At this point, I would say it seems like they are unloading a lot of contracts because their cap situation wasn't the greatest, and from the looks of it, they're going to have roughly $100 million next season, not this coming season, but next season under the cap. So it seems like they're preparing themselves to really make a splash a year from now. I would just go with Stidham. Sorry, I'm just checking my phone for a second. I would go with Stidham and see how he does. You got Hoyer as a backup. I've heard people say, oh, you should go after Winston or try to get Cam Newton. I don't know. If you can get one of those guys for like 2, 3, 4 million for a year, then maybe. But I would see how Stidham does. And I'm not expecting much this year. I'll still root for them, and I'll be rooting for Tampa Bay. I root for Tampa Bay anyway because my buddy. But yeah, so that's where I stand on that. Any more thoughts on getting the Cab M? I am not going to get the Cab M now because, and I mentioned this in the last stream, the Helix is going to basically do what the Cab M does. And I hadn't thought of that when I, started selling all this stuff off and made the decision to go back to the Helix. I can just use the IRs, load them into the Helix and use them that way with the Synergy stuff. So, yeah, I don't see the reason in spending another $200-300 plus having another unit to hook up when I get to a show. I don't need it to record with. I can load that stuff into Logic or whatever. I have Helix Native. So yeah, the Torpedo, I came really close to getting it before I figured this all out. So I will not be getting the Cab M, and I'm just going to use the Helix to give me. And like I said, the Synergy, the cab simulated out sounds great. It really does. I believe it was put together by Dave Friedman. It sounds really good. But if I want to have a different type of tone, then yeah, I'm gonna need some kind of IR loader, and the Helix is gonna do that. Got a feeling this other light, the battery's gonna die out. Now I bought this light here. I bought this probably 2-3 months ago, and I have not had to charge the batteries yet. So this other one over here just died out, and this one probably will too. Eddie, how are you going to monitor your rig on stage? In-ears. My band is fully in-ears now. Now there's going to be a show here and there where we can't use in-ears, and thinking of our schedule right now, there are a couple of shows on the schedule. If the schedule stays as is, who knows what's going to happen. But in the event that I can't use in-ears, I have a couple of options. I still have the head, it's on the floor over here, the Head Rush FR 112, which the Synergy actually sounds really, really good through. I have that. I could also run direct and have the sound guy give me the sound from the Synergy through the whatever monitors, the wedges they have, which I really don't want to do that because to me guitars never sound good through the PA monitors like that. Or if I really had to, I could bring my DSL with me and run the Synergy through the DSL, use the DSL for power, and either bring my 412 or my 212. So, but for the most part, 90% of the shows that we do, we're going to be using in-ears, and it's so much easier and makes things, especially for singing. We have 5 guys in the band singing now, so being able to hear everybody without having to, when you're using the floor wedges, you usually cannot hear your vocal because everything is so loud on stage, you can't hear it. And you end up, when you're singing, you don't end up singing anymore, you end up screaming, which is not a good thing to do. So using the in-ears helps a lot because you can actually sing softly and you'll still come out the way it's supposed to come out, as loud. The sound guy can just put you up. When you're singing with wedges and you can't hear it, you find yourself really straining yourself and pushing more and getting louder and louder as the show goes on, and then the mix is compromised and it just doesn't work out well. So hopefully that answers your question. I have, like I said, there's 3 or 4 options, whether it's in-ears, the FRFR, the stage monitors, or running through a tube amp for power. I just want to check something quickly here. I tell you, I am really, really, really waiting for this stuff to come. That I bought, the guitar and the Helix. You get that anxiety, and especially now where I pretty much am staying home. I have all this time. I have extra time. I'm still doing a little work here and there, but I have all this extra time to be able to do this. The other thing I'm waiting on too, and I don't know when it's shipping, is the actual pedal board. Just because I'm using the Helix doesn't mean it's not going on a board. So I ordered a board from Get Off My Case, flat board. Let me see if I can, hold on a sec here. Let me see something. Let's see if I can get this. If you heard that, that is me sending a photo to the computer. 56. All right, so I'm going to try to pull this photo in here. Let me see. Pedal board image. You'll see the exact board that I ordered. All right. I'm hoping that you can actually see this. Let me move it over a little. So that's the board that I have on order from Get Off My Case. I had contemplated on building this thing, but when I weighed out the parts and trying to get the black linoleum type that's on the top there, trying to get that was not going to be easy in my area. And to order just a small piece, the cost, it just didn't make sense because the cost was going to be close to what I paid for the board to be already made. So instead of, like I said, instead of building it, I have it on order, and I have a FedEx number that says it's either shipping this Friday or it should be here this Friday. It hasn't shipped yet, and that reminds me I'm going to email those guys to make sure they are still working, and I'm not going to be waiting on this board because I'll probably just cancel it and do something else. But so on the board itself, and that's the other thing, I got a tape measure here. I know the Helix is about 22 inches wide from what I can remember. the width, I'm not worried about. The Helix is, what, like 11, 12 inches. So the board I got is 28 by 16. And meaning it's 27 by 15 because of the U-line, or whatever they call it, on the edges. The metal around the edges. So if the Helix is 22, my talk box, hold on one sec. Alright, so I grabbed one of my Banshee talk boxes, and I want to say that, oh, perfect. So this is 4.5 inches wide. The Helix is, what did I say, 22, so that's 26.5. So I basically have half an inch, which is perfect because half an inch, I'll be using right angle cables. I'm going to be making the cables. Hey Bobby, what's up? How you doing? Thanks for hopping on here. I'm almost done actually. But yeah, I'm going to be using, making my own cables. As I mentioned previously, I'm trying to see if I have the connectors anywhere over here. But I have some regular, normal ends on them, and I have some right angle, like pancake connectors. So I'll use that for the talk box, and I'll also be putting the Friedman buffer bay on there. And that's all that's going on the board. So it's going to have the Helix, you're going to have the Banshee, and you're going to have the buffer bay. So I'll run my snake into this, also with the MIDI, because that's how I'm going to control the channels on the Synergy. And then I'll run out of this into the Helix. I'll color code it and all that stuff, and tie everything down, and it'll be good. And I already labeled this stuff too, so I have it on the bottom. I don't remember why I have it on the bottom, but I remember why. When I had the Friedman board, it was mounted underneath. But yeah, so that's all that's going on the board. No external pedals. I'm gonna rely on the Helix to do all that stuff. I see some boards, and this is just me, and anybody can obviously do what they want, but I see like a board with a Helix on it, and then there's like 17 other pedals running through the. I don't understand that. If you like all those other analog pedal, whatever, external pedals that much, that you're running it through you don't need to take the Helix off the board. If you're just trying to control all those pedals, just get the ES8 or another controller like that. I don't know, that's just me. But I'm going to start winding this down here. I've been on for close to an hour now. I wasn't expecting to be on this long. But I do thank you guys that have been on here with me. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to do this here and there as much as I can while we are all trying to stay out of the public. And again, the title of this is Early Morning #Stay Home Hangout. So please, please, please stay home if you can. I know I keep saying it, sound like a broken record, but I want this to be over ASAP, which I'm sure a lot of you do too, but it's not going to be if people keep going out and doing stupid things. So please think of others. And even like they're saying, you could have this thing and not even know it, not have any symptoms, not get sick, but you're carrying it and you pass it on to somebody else without even realizing it. You go, whatever. And it might get to somebody that can't handle it as well as you did, and that's when things go wrong. So try to stay in as much as you, not stay in, stay around your house, around your neighborhood, take a walk, this and that. Take your dog for a walk and just hang out. Like it says, stay home, hang out. I'll be back on again at some point, maybe with a different background this time. But thanks again, and if you do watch this and would be kind enough to subscribe, that would be great. And also ring that bell. And yeah, you too, Eddie. Stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you back on here soon. Maybe once I get the new guitar and the Helix and get everything running, I'll I'll get back on here with that stuff. But everybody stay safe, stay home, do what they're telling you to do, and we'll get out of this. So right now I am off to, I don't know what, really don't know what I'm going to do today, but probably might go check my mail. See you later.